Morning, one and all. I hope you're well. It's Easter Sunday today, so I wish you all a happy Easter Sunday to the people here in Europe and throughout the world. But it's just that there are different time zones, so the Australians have already gone past, or the people down under have already gone past. Well, they might still be in some of their Easter Sunday, but a lot of them it would be coming towards the end of their Easter Sunday. So I wish everybody a happy Easter Sunday. Chang, as per usual, is always on time, and he will join us as when he sees fit. But he's not here as yet. But when he comes, he'll join us, and we shall say hello to him. Sorry, I'm just putting this out on X to say that I'm live. There we go. Right. So let's start off with saying hello to a few people in chat who have decided to either get up early or watch us before their bedtime. We have Shemtown says, "Good morning, Mr. Bossman, Jose, and the youngest looking old man, Mr. Chickeny Changa Chang. Hope you're both well and having a lovely weekend." Shemtown, to be quite honest, right, I've been off work all week, and you can see, look at this. Look at this. Yeah. I've been off work all week. I've been absolutely lazy matitis. I have been, very, very lazy this week. Very, very chilled. And, I can only say I'm doing well. Today I'm going out for a bit with one of my daughters, driving with her so she knows the new route. But then they've got other plans made, so quite a chill day. But Chang will be able to answer when he comes back. As I said, happy Easter Sunday to you all. Here's my man. Look at that. Hello, Jose Chang and Cobbers. It's Mr. Shear. I hope you are well, sir. I hope you are well. And then we have Jimmy Hotspurs here. He says, "Big up Jose and Chang and the chat. Good morning and a happy Easter." Smash the like button. Everyone's saying Chang because Chang should be here. It's quite weird because he does stuff with his family. Like we all do, but he does stuff with his family on a Sunday, and it's trying to figure the show around him. But anyway, as I say, the show must go on. We have who's Drula? Drula's here. Says, "Good morning, Jose, Mr. Jose Chang, and the Cockerel crew, and a happy Easter for all those celebrating. For us Cypriots celebrate today too. We say Christos Anesti." I probably butchered that, Drula. Christos Anesti. You would tell me if I did or not. I've tried my best, I think. Paige. Morning, Jose, Mr. Chang, when he comes in, and a chat. Happy Easter. Good morning, Paige. You and Drula, did you not watch the stream or watch the wrestling and all that? Because if you guys did, then by God, you're doing well getting up on a Sunday morning really early. I'll tell you that. Oh, look, Chang says he's on his way in now. Chang. You wouldn't pass muster, Jose, says David Shear. Thanks, David. Look, we've got Finn. Finn says, "Morning, Jose in the chat. Good morning, Finn. I hope you're well, sir." Paul G says, "Happy Easter all." Happy Easter to you, Paul G. No, you said that perfect, rolled off the tongue like a natural. Finn says, "Happy Easter to everyone. Happy Easter." Paige says, "I watched the wrestling, Jose. Got 1 hour of sleep. Oh my God. Might be a KO later today, possibly. Finn, mate, you missed the predictions. So, Finn, you still have a chance on the predictions, mate, because there's still 7 games. If you go on to yesterday's or Friday's stream, you've got all the matches from today. So from Fulham Chelsea up until Monday's game with Tottenham. And then there's also the Man City and Arsenal game from midweek. So if you want to do 7 predictions, Finn, you can do. Just leave them in the stream from Friday. Where is Finn? Just want to double check because I want Finn to break milestones. Right, Finn, you currently sit on 191 points. You score 9 points or more, you break the 200-point barrier, mate. So it's up to you. But if you want to do it, There's still 7 games that you can predict on, which ain't no bad shout. You still got 7 games. Right, just waiting for a man because he says he's coming in. I wanted to move on to the first subject, but it takes 2 to tango, so to speak. So it would be nice if he came in and he joined me in a second. Paul G says he can't believe wrestling exists. I've been told last night because I was updating the predictions last night, and I went in and it was Stacey and 9 there, and I just said hello, hit a like you normally do, all the things that we should normally do for content creators, and I just put a couple of chats in there with them, and I think they were telling me or something along the lines of that because it hadn't started by the time I think I went in just before 1 o'clock in the morning, and I hadn't started. And they were saying things that it was on Netflix now, so it's more accessible to people. I think that's what they were trying to tell me. So, yeah, but I don't follow wrestling. I haven't followed wrestling. I used to follow wrestling when my little boys used to like it. Well, they were little then, they're not so little now. So I'm talking about late 90s, the very late 90s, early 2000s. We used to watch it. We used to watch it religiously. So, but now I don't bother anymore. There's no point. It's all comedy, innit? It's all comedy. Once it was all right to watch it when the kids were young. It's all comedy. My father-in-law, super lover of it. Hasn't got Netflix, I'm afraid, but he's a super lover of it, and he catches up on it. I don't know what channel he watches it on, but he ends up catching up on it because the wrestling used to be on TNT, and he hasn't got TNT either. And it's not like the olden days. In the olden days, you could video something, couldn't you? Record something for someone, you'd video it, and after you video it, you'd pass the video on, and then people would end up not watching it. But yeah, I don't know how he would watch it now. Mr. Agambar. Mr. Agambar's here. Hello, good morning, Chris. Chris says, happy Easter, Jose. And all Chris, a happy Easter to you, sir. Luke's here. Hello, Luke. I hope you're well, sir. A happy Easter to you and your family as well, sir. Paul G says, same as me, late 90s, but as I got older, I stopped watching, preferred boxing, UFC, etc. I've always preferred boxing, Paul. I mean, I don't know how old you are, mate, but when I grew up, I started watching boxing at a very young age in the 70s. And when I was watching boxing, I was watching Muhammad Ali, and I was watching Muhammad Ali at the time, him, and Ernie Shavers, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, yeah, all the proper heavyweights. And then as the late 70s and the early 80s kicked in, it was then the 4 Kings that I watched. So I was watching Duran, Leonard, Hagler, and Sugar Ray. And then from there, yeah, although I watched world boxing, I'm a fan of, superb fan of. Me and my mate, Ash, who's traveling abroad at the moment, he's doing the world tour at the moment, but we used to record every single boxing fight there was, and we had a catalogue of all the fights on VHS. Absolutely brilliant. And then obviously you had after that, in the mid 80s to early 90s, and you saw the British rivalry. So you saw Eubank, Ben, Watson, Collins, that era, and yeah, boxing's always been mine. I'm the boxing person. I'm not. Yeah, I can't turn around and say to you that I'm wrestling, but I most definitely am boxing. Good morning, Wayne. It's been a while, Wayne. I hope you're well, Wayne. The wrestling is better than watching Spurs these days with our league form. Hashtag Paul Heyman for manager. Paul Heyman, Paul Bearer, as I used to call him, didn't they? Paul Bearer, Paul Heyman, yeah. I hope you're well, Wayne. Missed you on predictions, or have been missing you on predictions. Where are you, Wayne, in predictions? Because I want people to hit milestones. Wayne Bonner. Right, so Wayne, I don't know if you're interested, but if you are, there are 7 games you can still predict on Friday's stream. They are the games with Fulham, Chelsea. So the 4 games today, the game tomorrow with Tottenham, and then there's 2 games midweek that you can also do as well, which is the Man City, Villa, and Arsenal, Crystal Palace. So there are 7 games if you would like to do some predictions on. Giddy Haps, hello Jose. Are you Ange in or Ange out? That's a question to ask. But you know what? We'll save that one for later, and I will answer it later because I've got a lineup of how we're going to be answering questions today. Spurs fan John says, morning Jose. Good morning, Spurs fan John. Then we have Paul G. Paul G says, yeah, I've always preferred boxing too. I'm 37, so I'm not that era. I was Froch, Hatton, Calzaghe, etc. Shemtam says that the Hagler-Hearn fights were legendary. I think the 4 Kings, all their fights were legendary. Paige says, imagine Heyman at Spurs. Before every game, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. Good morning, Nita. Good morning, Nita, Jose and chat. I'm listening along while prepping dinner for today, having a few friends around. Happy Easter to you, Nita. Happy Easter to you. Giddy Hap says, I actually like boxing after watching Sylvester Stallone's Rocky movie, to be honest. Fantastic. Jimmy Hotspur says, John Conte, Alan Minter, Marvin Hagler, etc. Yep, John Conte in the mid-70s, I watched him. I watched Alan Minter. Alan Minter wasn't a bad domestic fighter. He gave it all the mouth, though, and Hagler taught him a lesson. Wayne Bonner says, being busy with the joys of work. Well, Wayne, I hope you chilled today, mate, because today's Easter Monday. David Shears now saying Jeff Fennick, the Hitman Harding, and Costa Zoo from Australia. Costa Zoo was some fighter, but he did get a lesson from Ricky Hatton. Let me see. Here he is. Yeah, Chang is here. Chang is here. Just catching up with the chat, and I'm going to introduce you, Chang. Luke says boxing ain't what it used to be. Now it's about avoiding the best for as long as possible to get big, to get a big record. And people try to make money. Did I get ahead of my? Did I not say Easter Sunday? Easter Sunday, not Monday. Getting ahead of yourself. I thought I'd said Easter Monday, so Easter Sunday. Well, there it is. It's Dev. Happy Easter Sunday to you all. Chang, on time as per usual. You had a lot of people saying hello to Jose and Chang, but Chang wasn't here. I explained to people that Chang will be here. Chang messaged me to say he was coming in. Chang's finally here. So, Chang, just tell me how you are today. I don't want to know how you've been in the week and that, because we will talk about the week. How are you today, Chang?
Feeling a lot better after my recent recovery from trying to get over this bad sore throat of mine. I do apologize for being a few minutes late this Sunday evening. I just had to try to wash myself up after hacking out my lung earlier this afternoon, but hopefully I sound a lot better now. But otherwise, I am feeling a whole lot better from yesterday, Jose, and looking forward to getting through today's episode with you. I believe this should be episode 7 of Jose and Chang, and no time like the present.
Fantastic. So let me just, right. Fennick, world champion 3 weight divisions, was robbed against Azuma Nelson. He was like Calzaghe, hands always breaking. Nice mug. Yes, thank you very much. Happy Easter to you, Chang, coming in from a few people as well. Yeah, it says to me, I'm having an adventure before dementia. Right, Chang. No, like the present. Chang, we do this in order of what's happened in our past week, because obviously we talk Tottenham from Sunday to Sunday. So we talk about the week. So, Chang, the first thing that happened last week, Chang, right, is we have to start there, Chang. We had a show last Sunday. We had a game on Sunday. Defeat at Wolves, Chang. What are your thoughts about this? I know it's old news now, but we don't get to talk about it. So, defeat at Wolves, what were your thoughts?
Well, if there was one game this season, or if there was one game this whole entire miserable season that pretty much summed up our form in the domestic league, this game just had it all. I mean, the way we were giving away possession, conceding possession, just affording them chances, and even just losing possession was so characteristic of us, especially that first half against Wolves at the Molineux. I'm surprised we only conceded the 2. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the chances that we gave away, I am so very glad. I am just like all the other games before this, Jose. I'm so very glad that the moment we conceded, and this time again we conceded very early on, I just called it a day and went straight to bed. But I was able to watch highlights of the game the following morning, even though we considered like what inside 90 seconds or 80 seconds it was, straight from a free kick. And I just regret watching the highlights, because then it set me off on a wrong mood, on a wrong foot on a Monday morning. But yeah, I mean, Jose, you just need to look at the way we considered possession. It was so uncharacteristic of so many of our players. Romero was giving the ball away, leading us to concede. Bergvall was giving the ball away. Even Vicario was flapping. I'm not sure what came over him, but he was just not himself. And I'm so very glad he got that out of his system. But yeah, that was a game to forget. And to mention that I'm so glad that we considered in seconds, because then that was the trigger for me to just call it a day, call it a Sunday, and not put myself to the rest of the match, which I'm so glad I didn't. But yeah, I mean, 4 goals to 2, I think it could have been a whole lot more. But I will say this on a positive side about our defeat against Wolves. Richardson got a score sheet. That was something good to see. As was, I think it was Matthias Stell who scored in the second half from a Johnson cross from the right. So that's good to see as well. So that means we can score away from home. And it's good to see, the players I mentioned earlier, Tel and Richarlison get on the score sheet. But yeah, the way we conceded, I mean, it's things like need to sub fast, Jose, before the semi. And I really do look forward. I really do look forward to tomorrow's game against Nottingham Forest on a Monday night, and see if we finally plug those leaks and gotten ourselves, back on track to endings this season on a high. Having said that, back to you, FA.
Yeah, the defeat of Wolves. Sorry, I've just put in there, Wayne, you're missing Leicester Liverpool. I've got the rest of yours, but you're missing Leicester Liverpool. So for me, last Sunday, because we've got to talk about this. We talked about last Sunday about playing against. We just come off the 1-1 draw with Eintracht when we spoke last Sunday, and we were saying that was, or I think we were in agreement that was probably the best performance that Tottenham have put in a number of months. And it was only a 1-1 draw, but we felt that we should have won by more. Well, one, we should have won the game, and one, we should have won the game tidily, should I say? And we ended up with, it is what it is. We ended up with the 1-1 draw. And when we were talking about taking the momentum into Wolves, is what we talked about last Sunday. And we said all this. And then on Sunday, I was so looking forward to the game. And then watching the game, I was just like, please, just stop the game. Stop the game. There is no need to play this game anymore. We were just making mistake after mistake. We looked, where I keep saying this season, we look like passing ships in the night. We look like we don't know each other. We can't string passes to each other. At the end of the day, I just thought to myself, stop the game now. We were just really, really awful. And at the end of the day, it wasn't just the mistakes we made. I felt, okay, there were individual mistakes, but there was team errors in the build-ups to their goals that we made. And then eventually, the one person will get given the mistake, or the mistake is yours. But I felt the whole mistake was a team effort, because it was the team playing poorly that led to these. Watching Vicario last Sunday against Wolves, I had my heart in my mouth every time he got the ball, because every time he got the ball, I felt he was playing our players into trouble with short passes to defend to the defenders and the midfielders. that had people breathing on top of them. I know it's the way of football and it's the way it's played now, but sometimes people can see clearly, forget about what you've been told. You can see clearly that the playing the ball ain't going to be right, you know. So, you know, at the end of the day, I wanted the game to be over. Absolutely hacked off. And with that, obviously, we all had our thoughts on, you know, what we were taking forward to Thursday. And I must admit, after the Wolves game for Thursday, there was a lot of people that felt that, you know, at the end of the day, we're not going to get a result on Thursday. So that's Wolves out of the way. Wayne, I've got all your scores in, mate. Spurs fans, in 1991, we only won 2 league games after New Year's Eve, but not people don't remember that. John, yeah, but there is. I mean, I'm older than you, John, and I can remember when we went down as well and we got relegated. But for me, it's the manner of, it's the volume of the defeats, and it's the manner of the defeats as well. That's really irking. And yeah, a lot of people are not going to remember, you know, what happened years ago, because people are here for the here and now. What happens now, not what happens in the future. Not that we've got all these youngsters that might or might not do something in the future. People are all about the here and now. So I totally understand. Giddy Hat says, I would like to see greater players as 6 in all the remaining league games. No more right back. Rest Benton Court for the Europa. Wayne says that performance against Wolves was abysmal, a complete no-show, no leadership or communication. And Druder says bipolar football with this team. So that was Sunday, right? And then the week continues, right? And the week continues, and obviously the next thing we get to know is that Son's injured at the press conference for the game. So this is before the game. So we're leading up. This is all the lead ups and after. So towards the press conference of the game, we are then told that Son's injured and doesn't travel. Sonny being injured with a foot injury and doesn't travel. Good look, bad look. What are your thoughts, Chang?
I think it was a bad look at the time, Jose, and I had somewhat
Second cuckoo, good girl.
Right, I think he's lagging again. He's lagged again, hasn't he? So I think
I'm
he's frozen.
connected. I'm sorry.
Oh, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my internet is as sickly as I am, as is Son's condition. But his oh my goodness, I go again. Bear with me, Jose, while I fix my internet, please. I think I'm having a bit of a technical issue here.
Okay. We'll wait for Chang to put his 50p's into the meter. Well, that's what we used to say in the olden days. Put your 50 pence into the meter and twist it. God, I don't see one of them meters for 30 odd years. Go on.
Okay, so I hope my internet's fixed now. Thank you so much for being patient with me, everybody. This has not been the best of weekends for me, but I hope I'm able to just pull through today's show, as is my internet connection. So back to Sonny earlier, and his press conference. The injury to his foot. You remember, Jose, last Sunday we were speaking about the apparent mole in the team, and also how the news of Sonny's foot injury, or not Sonny's foot injury, obvious injury, got leaked out. It did look to me at the time that maybe, just maybe, Son surprisingly might have been a mole, and that I honestly thought that he was being dropped as a sort of a form of punishment for leaking the information out, but I hope that is the case. But yeah, that's a foot injury to Son. That wasn't something that's all of us can afford right now, especially given how we've been misfiring all season. I just hope that Son is on his way to full recovery and that he does play some role for us in the semi-finals against Bodo Glimt. But yeah, it was a kind of a strange thing, and I think you did mention yourself quite rightly so on Friday during the charity stream over the perfect match, how someone like Son, who is club captain and he should be able to have somehow tried to make the flight with the rest of the team, with the rest of the squad to Germany to sort of act as a sort of a team captain, even if it means just supporting from the sidelines or in spirit. I thought, am I lagging out again?
No, carry on.
Oh my goodness me.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, bear with me, everyone. If you all can still hear me, yeah, the internet isn't all that good. I can see that I'm timing out and I'm lagging. Okay, yeah, I'll try my best to just plow on. Yeah, so as you quite rightly mentioned, over in the perfect match and the charity stream, Son not being able to travel isn't a good look as well for the team, for him, for that matter. So that was a worry, but I really do hope that we do see Son at the stadium come tomorrow night against Nottingham Forest. I think that would put our minds at ease whether or not he really is just serving some sort of disciplinary ban or some sort of disciplinary action for leaking anything out, if he was the mole that leaked the older beer injury news. And do hope all the best of recoveries to Sonny if he is genuinely injured. I just hope that he will be able to lend a hand to us come the start of the first leg against Bodo Glimt, Jose. Having said that, back to you, FA.
Yeah, so for me, Chang, he's obviously we can't move on. So I'm not going to move on. We will talk about. I'll repeat Sonny again later on because my last talking point was about the press conference for tomorrow's game. So, with that being said, for me, yeah, as I said clearly, you can have a foot injury, right? But medicine and treatment has moved on at a pace. It's not like it was 30, 40 years ago where you could have a really bad injury. I'm not saying it's your foot, anything could have a really bad injury, but someone will say to you, best not to fly. You can't fly with that injury. But you now have so much advancement and technology in medicine and in medical information that people now have what the protective boot, space boot, whatever you want to call it, and there is no reason why he couldn't have been in the boot and gone with the squad and supported the side. And the way that I came across on Friday, it was that, and the reason why I said it on Friday was that Manuel Neuer, the Bayern goalkeeper, who's out injured at the moment, he's got an injury, and he's had an injury for a lot longer, and he travelled with the squad, with the Bayern squad, to Milan to support the team from the sidelines because he's the captain. And I just felt that the look doesn't look right. Something's amiss for me. It just doesn't look right. Son not being there. He can be injured, but not being there to support the team just didn't come across and didn't bode well with me. Now, every fan is going to have a different opinion and a different view because we don't all share the same opinions. But like I said, my opinion is it's not a good look that he wasn't able to go and support the team. Chris Hagenbart is saying Malaysian Ringgit. Jimmy Oxford says for your captain not to travel with the team is never a good look, says Jimmy. And Giddy Haps is saying Son was limping from the Chelsea game. I'm not sitting here saying he's not injured and he hasn't got an injured foot. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that with an injured foot, he could have worn a protective boot, and then he can then attend the match and support the team. Even though he can't play, support the team through. Drula says, did anyone see Son's post anything about us going through? I might have missed it. I'm not a great person when it comes down to X and that. I mean, I see bits and pieces here and there, but I cannot say to you, Drula, that I've seen anything at all, any post from Sonny. I don't know whether Chang has, but I haven't seen anything.
Were you asking me something, Jose?
I just said, have you on X, have you seen anything, Sonny post anything recently?
Unfortunately, no. I've not seen anything posted by Son on social media or even anywhere on the media. For all I know, he maybe is in the dark himself onto any of these things with regards to his status or his availability. And I think it's for the best right now, Jose. It's for the best that he just keep mum. He just keeps silent over these sort of things until it sorts himself out, until we actually know more for certain. And of course, there is that other part of me that feels that being silent or in Son's case, no news isn't at all good news. So I just hope it's prior to tomorrow, if Son really is genuinely injured, we do see him at the stadium, and that would actually give us some indication as to where he is currently medically and also personally. But to answer your question, Jose, unfortunately, no, I've not seen anything being posted by Son anywhere on his social media.
Right, but Giddy Hats is saying he did. Yes, he did. He's done an Instagram story apparently. Wayne says depends on the nature of his foot injury and if the travel was advised against. I'd rather he work on getting the problem sorted for the end of the season running. Is what Wayne said. That's a fair comment, Wayne. Like I said, we all think of this differently. I just want to go back on a second. You know this Sun mole thing that you said, Chang. Last Sunday when we were talking about, because the news last week was there's a mole in the camp, and I don't recall you mentioning Sonny at all last Sunday, because I said I thought it might have been Dragison's agent, because it would be someone that was. It made sense for me for it to be someone in the treatment room that was leaking that information. And I felt it might have been Dragison telling his agent, what's going on in the inner workings of Tottenham. And Dragison's agent is the person that loves to talk more than anybody I've ever met at Tottenham Hotspur. He talks more than Ange, and Ange does press conferences 3 times a week. But this guy talks more than Ange. So I felt that it could have been coming from him, and that he could have been the mole. It could have been the agent, but through from talking to Dragison. But you never mentioned Sonny last Sunday, so I didn't know where your Sonny issue, where you've come with Sonny now.
Yeah, I did also mention last Sunday, Jose, that if Son did make an appearance against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux, that he would then equal Ted Ditchburn as our 6th most capped player in modern competitive football, and he hasn't yet made this all-important 462nd appearance in Spurs colours. And it's not just that Wolves game that he was missing out last Sunday, Jose. It was also the midweek game away against Frankfurt in Germany. So that's 2 consecutive competitive matches that he's missed, and there was no mention of him anywhere, not that I knew of anyway, or that I've heard of him missing out because of any injury. So that is what added fire to my speculation of him being disciplined as the sort of mole that was behind this leak on the Odebeer injury news. But that was purely my speculation at the time when I saw the starting lineup of the squad and also the subs bench against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux. And I mean, I really hope that's not the case, Jose. But again, if Mr. Giddy Haps has mentioned that Son himself has posted on Instagram, then I think that's what I will have to hang on to for now.
Okay. You've got Giddy Haps says to us that Solanke Manners also didn't travel to the Carabao Cup semi-final. You have got Graham says, Happy Easter, Jose and Mr. Chang. Come on, you Spurs. Good morning, Graham, and a happy Easter Sunday to you, sir. You then have Nate the Ape says, Big up, gents. Good to see you this morning. Good morning to you, Nate the Ape, and a happy Easter Sunday to you as well, sir. So we get told in the press conference. So Ange does a press conference pre-Frankfurt. So this would have been the night before Frankfurt because the press conference would have taken place in Germany. So it's not one that they do at Hotspur way before traveling out. This would have been done the evening before the match in Frankfurt. So it would have been done in Germany. And the first person to be interviewed was Ange. So in his presser, he tells us all about Son is injured and doesn't travel. However, straight after his presser, you normally get a player that does a presser. Yeah. And the player that did the presser was one Mickey van der Ven. Have you seen his press conference? I've called it.
Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't hear the Van der Ven interview. I was rather preoccupied leading up to the match, even a day prior to our second leg tie in Germany. So unfortunately, I didn't hear about this. But please do tell Jose what was Van der Ven's interview.
So you've got a defeat against Wolves. Then you've got Sonny. That's not people are up in arms after the Wolves defeat. Then we're going into a return leg in the quarterfinal of the Europa League. Then you've got Sonny and the story about his injury and he didn't travel. And then after Big Ange did his press conference for the game, it was the player press conference, and it was Mickey van der Ven. Now, the press conference with van der Ven lasted 9 minutes. Can be seen readily on YouTube. Anyone can watch it. You can either see it through Haters TV, Beanie Man Sport, or sometimes you get Last Word on Spurs will re-release it, and so we are Tottenham TV will re-release it. But anyway, does an interview. He's asked, obviously, with the interview, the rounds of interviews, there's a load of journalists there, and a load of journalists will ask questions at different stages. Some may ask one, some ask two. You know, at the end of the day, it's their time to ask the player the questions. So after about three, the third interview, the third journo asks him how he is with his injury, you're back and stuff like that, and how you are with injury. And he talks about, I'm back from my injury. I'm now fully fit, have been for a while. I had to go away from the club and seek other medical experience or whatever to find out. And he's having to learn about his body, running style, and getting used to playing football in a different way. And he'd been, but he said he was 100% fit at the running, had been for a while. So that's what he said. And then another journalist then has asked questions, and they're all different questions that are being asked by the journalist. But about 2/3 of the way, and so around the 6-minute mark or somewhere along there, 2/3 of the way, it comes to another journalist who then says to Mickey van der Ven, "Can I take you back? What you're saying to us is that you are fit now and able to play?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "And you said that you've been fit for a while?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm fit, and I've been fit for a while, and I'm itching." And he said, "Well, if you are fit and you have been for a while, why are you not playing?" And he turned around, he said, and he repeated it. So 3 times he said this in the interview. He said, "I'm fit. I've been fit for a while, and I want to play every game. But if you want to know why I'm not playing or why I don't get selected, you're going to have to ask the gaffer." And he kept repeating that you're going to have to ask the gaffer. So you've got a defeat against Wolves. Everyone's up in arms with the defeat against Wolves. The fan base are then cheesed off because Sonny is got a foot injury, hasn't travelled. Then Mickey van der Ven, because Mickey van der Ven is not going to know what the journalists are going to ask him. Mickey van der Ven then says this in his interview, and you're just like, hold on. The ship is sailing on its own. No one is steering this ship. Everyone seems to be at odds with each other and at odds with everything that they're doing. So that's basically what happened in the interview. Now, what would you, from what I've said, and I don't know, it might be something you might want to watch. The channel, it's only 9 minutes on, but from what I've said, what are your thoughts on the Van der Ven press conference?
Yeah, this one part about Van der Ven responding to the journalists that they will have to inquire from Big Ange themselves why Van der Ven isn't selected for match day squads. I think you did also touch on this on Friday morning during the charity stream over on the Perfect Match. And I think at that time, it also doesn't really speak well of the way maybe Big Ange is selecting the team, because the way, I mean, from what I can construe or what I can build upon from this sort of players' responses is that if they say that they are fit and they are ready and raring to go, but they aren't getting opportunities, then maybe it's something else beyond their own medical conditions. And that maybe only the managerial and even the medical staff themselves are, in the position to make this sort of calls, whether or not he should be featuring in a match day squads. But I mean, in a way, now that I have more time to process this information over the weekend, I feel that on the balance, that it's the proper answer to have to answer, in which a player shouldn't have to speak on behalf of his manager or the coaching staff when it comes to team selections. Rather than they should leave it to their own managers to answer on their selection. So I would say that was the politically correct answer for Van der Ven to have to make. And I really do hope that we get some transparency from now onwards, especially from Big Ange when it comes to player selections and their current, statuses, whether it's Van der Ven or Sonny or even Kevin Denso, whom I thought was going to be a big miss on Thursday night, but thankfully we saw him come on, so that's good to know. But my final thoughts on this Van der Ven interview and his response, Jose, is that it might not be the best answer, but I think it's one that would make it less awkward for him and also Big Ange moving forward. And also it would do the whole squad a world of good if Big Ange is the one who's answering these sort of questions instead of the players. Having said that, back to you, FA.
You've got Shemtam says, didn't Sonny do that too on the last international break? So I don't know. I can't remember what we were talking about, Shemtam. For you to say that, if you want to tell me a bit more, then I can go back and maybe understand your response. Wayne Bonner says, Ange is prioritising the Europa League. Personally, if Van der Ven is fit, then play him. Improve the league position and the results. Nate the 8 says, it did seem a strange response. I would have expected the media training team would have covered that and asked VDV to say he was carrying a knock. Saying ask the manager why I wasn't selected is odd. Tagaro is here. Hi all, happy Easter. I hope you've had a happy Easter Sunday, Tagaro. You guys are going in towards Easter Monday, aren't you? Because you are later in the day than what we are. You are now in your evening. Jimmy Oxford says, got to walk the dogs now. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of Easter. Jimmy, take care, sir. God bless you and your dogs. Giddy Haps is saying, now Danso is back. Danso and Davis can play. The rest, VDB for the Europa. Julie says, didn't VDB pull up in a game after coming back from his hamstring injury? I think he's tired in the game, and he was taken off. He played, was taken off, didn't play the next game, played the game after that. Is what I think they've been in and out. Sometimes just to clarify, Sonny was saying he was fit back then and in his best physical condition, and didn't know why he was on the bench back then. Right? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do understand. Yes, Sonny did say that a while ago when Sonny was out with an injury for a couple of weeks. He was out, weren't he? And he did say that he was fit, firing, but you know, he was on the bench. The thing for me though is that media training or no media training, right? And I'm gonna spin this around as well. But media training or no media training, if you're asked a question, right, on your fitness, then you know, if you're fit, you'll say you're fit. But you don't have to hide that you're fit or not fit. That doesn't have to be hidden. So the fact that he turned around and said, you know, I'm fit and have been for a while. Well, why are you not playing then? Well, then you're gonna have to ask the manager that. If he knows, right, to stop all this like shenanigans, if he knows that there's a program for him, right, he would turn around and say, yeah, I've been fit for a while, but what they're doing is they're managing my minutes and they're easing me in, blah blah blah. But he never said any of that. He just said, no, I've been fit and running for a while, and you'll have to ask the manager why he's not selecting me. So at the end of the day, Drew, I'm going to start your question. We're going to have two questions at the end now because the question I was asked earlier as well. So at the end of the day, Chang, so we're rolling because, as I said, we have to go because we do this every Sunday. We're going on a day-by-day basis. So we've got the Wolves defeat and how poor that looked and how bad that was. And then we've got Sonny not being able to travel because he's injured. This was at the press conference the night before. Then the night before, straight after the manager, Van der Ven was press conference, and he made these comments. So we're moving away now from Wednesday, and we go to Thursday.
A nice tasty treat.
After everything that I've said, Chang, right? After everything that I've said so far in the week leading up to Thursday night, tell me your thoughts. And chat, tell me your thoughts as well. Pre-game on Thursday. So, I don't know, 2 hours, 5 hours before kickoff. What were your thoughts? What did you think was going to happen? What was your hope? You know, what did you think would happen? What was you hoping for? I know what we're all hoping for, but what did you think would happen?
So I was getting rather nervous, anxious, but equally excited for kickoff to get underway for us. I knew that I was going to be able to. I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch the match in full, but I was expecting us to still make it through past this quarterfinals, and I just wanted us to avoid making the same mistakes that we did on Sunday, Jose. And it. I mean, it was if it was already if it was already apparent that we were going to miss out on Sonny, then the rest of the team were going to have to elevate themselves. And my one biggest worry is that because given the way we've been performing away from home this whole season, I was very, very nervous that we won't be able to, even get on a score sheet the whole 90 minutes, and we might just go out on a 0-0 draw. That was my worry, Jose. But to be perfectly honest, I wasn't entirely confident and sure that we would be able to get anything at all from this tie, and I'm so glad I've been proven wrong. But I really am looking forward to see what the people in the chat have to say about their pre-match feelings, their assumptions, and their thoughts going into the game. I personally tried my best to get to bed early to see if I could wake up in the early hours of a Friday morning to watch the game. Unfortunately, that's when this thing happened to me, myself, and my throat. And just like the game itself, I mean, just like the pre-match itself, I wasn't feeling well myself, and that also led to a lot of things before today's show with you, Jose. But otherwise, I was still hoping against all hope that we were able to get something from the game. But yeah, to answer your question, Jose, it wasn't the best of platforms to build upon, especially given the way we shipped 4 goals away at Wolverhampton Wanderers before kickoff. So yeah, I was very, very nervous, and I'm glad right now that all those nerves have been put to bed. Having said that, back to you, FA. Jose, you're on mute. FA, you're on mute.
So the time difference for us is that we can see the game because it's an 8 o'clock evening kickoff for us. It would have been 9 o'clock in Germany because Germany are an hour ahead of us in England. But for you, that would have been what, 4 in the morning, something along them lines, 3-4 in the morning kickoff.
Yes, it was 3 in the morning. It started at 3 in the morning, and I got up for the second half at 4 in the morning.
Oh, so you did watch the second half then? I was just about to ask you how much of the game did you get to see, or did you wake up the following morning after the event had finished and then watched it back somehow? That's what I was going to ask. But okay, so you did watch it. So Wayne Bonner says, I thought it'd be extra time and penalties. So these are his thoughts before the game. I thought it'd be extra time and penalties. Drula says, who were they? A completely different contrast to the Premiership. So that does tell me that's where their heads are at. And Giddy Hap says, I was mostly worried about Porro that night, but he had such an amazing performance. And Graham says, sorry, Jose, I have to go. Have a great Easter, everyone. Eat plenty of chocolate and see you all later. Also, remember to smash the lights. Graham, take care, sir. Take care. So I was on a show on Thursday. I was on FHTV, and we were asked for our predictions at the end of the show. And my prediction, Nostradamus that I am, I was asked first. Out of the panel, I was asked first. And I said, Tottenham to win 1-0, I said. And as soon as I said that, the host of FHTV said, clean sheet? Are you mad? And I said, look, for me, we're going to have to tough this game out. And for me, because it's a 1-1 draw already from the first leg, a 1-0 victory gets you through. You only have to win by 1 goal. I prefer the 1-0 victory, but then you can win. You can win it by any other result by a goal, but I'm going for 1-0. So Nostradamus here predicted a 1-0 victory. So well done, Nostradamus. It's probably the first Tottenham result. Or no, it's probably about the third in the whole season. It's probably about the third result that I've actually predicted correctly, because I often go for Tottenham to win every single match, regardless of who we're playing. I put a score in and we end up losing. We've lost 21 games this season or whatever. So, but I got that one right. So I was well proud of myself. And then I went on FHTV Friday morning, and the first thing I had to gloat about was me getting the correct prediction. Anyway, for that, my thoughts were that if we're going to talk about the night, because it was a glory night for Frankfurt, now we can talk. We talked about what we thought before the game. Now we can talk about it at the game. You got Giddy Haps is saying, after such a long time, we got to see all 4 defenders playing together. We look good and composed at the back. Matthew's here, says, bonjour, Jose and Chang. Bonjour to you, Matthew. Nita says 1-0 was signed, sealed and delivered, and it brought a smile to my face. Come on, you Spurs. And Matthew says, Woolwich FC game trophyless, and we lift an European trophy would be a perfect end of the season. So Chang, the game itself, I mean, did you watch? You've obviously seen the highlights of the first half, but you watched the second half. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct, Jose.
Okay, so tell me about the game. Go on, sorry.
Okay, yeah. As I was mentioning earlier, I was able to get up on time before the start of the second half, and I did also watch some of the highlights of the first half in that 15-minute break, and I thought it was a clear and obvious penalty. Upon review, it didn't look that much from the screen that I was watching when it happened in real time. The goalkeeper clattering into Madison, who tried to sort of lift the ball over the keeper and into the net, but it was a penalty, and I'm glad Solanke took it with aplomb. Yes, it looked rather timid and underpowered, but he still managed to get it on target, and he kept his cool, kept his nerves, put it straight down the middle. He could have lifted it a bit higher, I felt at the time when I watched it, to make it harder for the goalkeeper to get onto it if he did, leave a trailing leg behind, if he dived either way. So that was something I thought he got away with, Solanke, but a goal is a goal nonetheless. And going into the break at 1-0 up, that actually changes the entire complexion of the second half. It also would change Big Angel's strategy before the second half commenced. And the second half played out pretty much the way I expected it to. We were just soaking up pressure. We did afford ourselves some chances to try and get ourselves another goal to give us a 2-goal cushion. And I honestly thought at the time when I saw the chance being taken, I thought Cuti Romero could have at least got on the score sheet, or at least got his header on target from, I think it was a Kulusevski corner on the hour mark when the goalkeeper came out and flapped at the corner. But unfortunately, Cuti Romero's header went wide. So we still were nervy to hang on to the 1-goal lead. And I think it was Christensen, via, was he a winger? I can't remember what position he played, but
he's a right back.
Christensen. Okay, the right back. So he had the better chances for Frankfurt in the second half, and good to see Vicario get those mistakes last Sunday against Wolves out of the system. He kept us in the game. He made a few good saves. He got down low, kept the clean sheet, and that's how the game went on. That's how the game finished. On the balance, I would say it's a good result, a good performance from all the players. They were able to finally, at long last, play together as a unit away from home, and to get a clean sheet away from home on our European travels. I think it's a good indication. And I think the cherry on the cake for me, is being able to call upon Kevin Denso off the bench to replace either one of Romero and Van der Ven. So to see us having that strength, the strength in depth in our squad coming off the bench to replace another player coming off, I think that's a good indication. Hopefully, come tomorrow night against Forest at home, all the players will also remain fit. But my thoughts on that second half and also the match on the whole was that we deserved the win, and it's good to see. It's good to see the players celebrating with the away fans. I think that was a big change that we needed, something that we have been missing out, if you ask me, from our last few defeats, where everyone was just so down. You could see the players, they were down, the fans, they were down. So that was something gladdening to see when I think it was Big Ange himself. Big Ange also went to the away end to acknowledge and applaud our away fans. So credit as well to the away fans who made the long travel, the long journey over to Germany, Frankfurt, to watch it. And we are going to have to call upon you, dear away fans, when we do travel away to Norway, because I've just seen some photos earlier this morning of the Bodo Stadium. It's quite a chilly place to go. So suit yourselves up, Spurs fans. It's going to be a very interesting away game in Norway. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
So you've got Matthew saying, by the way, happy Easter to you, Matthew, as well. Nita says, we played like a team. We done to our boys. Gihap says, yes, Matthew, I was thinking about that as well. Tel Cockerel, smash a like for this stream, and if you can, if you can, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Druda says 1-0 away from home, keeping a clean sheet, not easy to do. Defensively was brilliant, and Romero stepped up. Tagaro, I think, is talking to you, Chang, saying he scored, my friend. The rest is history. Giddy Hap says Bergvall isn't only good going forward, but in Frankfurt game he showed he can be defensively good as well. He was putting his body on the line. Good evening to you, Kiwi Spurs TV. Says big up, brothers. Always top tier content, and what a win! Yes, what a win indeed. Wayne Bonner says I missed the first 65 minutes, but was surprised with what I saw the rest of the game. Frankfurt had chances, but we defended well. Kitty Hap saying VDV's tackle and Vicario insane save. And Drew says VDV, what a challenge to stop Ekitike from putting one past us, was incredible. To me, right, watching the game, it's night and day to what we were doing, what we've done this season, right? I'm going to say this, and it's going to be, people can say, well, everyone has opinions, and my opinion is we look better without Sonny in the team, right? Because when Sonny plays, it's a get the ball, come back, doesn't take the man on, and we slow the game right down completely. I felt that with anybody else, and it doesn't have to be Matthias Tel, although I've been telling people from time, Matthias Tel is not centre forward. Matthias Tel is a wide forward who cuts in from the left. He's not a winger. He's not a winger. He's a wide forward, right? And he cuts in from the left. And that's the position that they played him. Johnson and Matthias Tel tucked in. They helped out the two fullbacks. They tucked in. They offered an outlet, but they also tucked in, so it made us have 5 across the middle of the park when we were defending. Team selection, tactically, we got it spot on. That's the players and Postecoglou. For this game, they got it spot on. My thoughts after the game were, and still are, if we applied the same tactics to all the games that we have lost this season, we probably would have lost less than half of the matches we have lost by tactically being astute, defending when you've got to defend, and attacking when you can break out, right? We could have won some of the games that we've lost. Instead of going 1-0 up and then trying to chase a second, third, fourth, whatever goals you're trying to chase, and we end up getting hit on the counter and we end up getting beaten, and we're so open, and we have been open to play against, and the ball gets put in behind our fullbacks. In saying that, though, who did I watch as well? I watched somebody else that night. Was it that night or the night before? I watched somebody else play. I'll tell you what, it was the night before. Newcastle won 5-0 the night before in the league, didn't they, against Palace? And I was watching, and Shah and Dan Burn were playing right on the halfway line. They were the only two fullbacks. There were only two at the back. Their other fullbacks had already darted up the pitch, right? So when I keep saying that football nowadays is robotic and it's samey, and a while ago I was saying 15 of the 20 Premiership teams, at least 15 of them, play this high line football. They play with two centre halves on the halfway line, and their fullbacks and everyone else goes forward. So, we didn't do all that. In the main, we didn't do that against Frankfurt, and we played so much. We looked mature. I called it a mature performance to myself after I watched the game, but it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I can't tell you that I sat there, Chang, and I watched the whole game, and I can't tell you that I sat there biting my fingernails, swearing profusely, hands over my eyes, hiding behind the couch, and wanted to smash my television up. I did none of that. I had none of them vibes at all. I sat there as calm as a cucumber, watching the game unfold and watching my team defend and attack in equal measure with precision. Now, I haven't got the stats on screen, but I'm not a stat person. I never have been. But people want to put stats forward, they can do. I just watch football. I'm an old school. I watch football with my own eyes, and what I see after the game. Usually, they're my thoughts the day after, and the day after. So these are my thoughts that I had after the game, and they're still my thoughts today. And looking at that game, how many saves do you think Vicario made in the game?
If I had to guess, maybe half a dozen.
Okay.
At, maximum, maybe half a dozen saves. If that was
half a dozen. Yeah. Okay, that's not a bad shout. So if I turn around, I want to make sure that I'm right on what I'm saying. If I turn around and said to you that Vicario made 2 saves in the whole game.
Wow. Only the 2. That's impressive. That means the
2
defense
saves.
was covering well.
He made 2 saves, right? And how many saves did the Frankfurt goalkeeper make?
I would say half a dozen as well.
The Frankfurt goalkeeper made 5 saves. So saves, 2 for the Tottenham keeper, 5 for the Frankfurt keeper. Diving saves, they both had 1 each. So out of them, 2 and 5, they had 1 each with diving saves. Saved shots inside the box. Vicario made 1. Their goalkeeper made 4. From outside the box, Vicario made 1 save, and their goalkeeper made 1. We had 3 goalkeeper throws each. 5 goal kicks for us, 7 goal kicks for them, and there was only 1 punch clearance by our goalkeeper. So, on the stats, on the attacking, right? How many shots did Frankfurt have in total?
Okay, if Vicario only had 2 saves to make all game, I'm going to guess that maybe Frankfurt had only 5 or even 6 shots whole game on the Spurs goal mouth.
14 shots and 5 were on target.
Wow, 14.
The
Wow.
possession was 60-40 in Frankfurt's favour. Frankfurt had 37 touches inside Tottenham's box. We had 22 touches inside their box. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not a stats person, but it just shows that we put in a complete performance, both defensively and attacking. Before we scored our first goal, we actually had a couple of chances to score before we got our penalty. We had a couple of chances, right? And for me, I'm going to say this now. Christiansen, he's on loan from Leeds United at the moment to Frankfurt. Robin Koch, who's the captain for Frankfurt, was also ex-Leeds United. When they got relegated, Koch went back to Germany, and he's the captain for Eintracht. I played football many, many years ago, and I could see Christiansen in the first half, the way that he was and the way that he kept grimacing and stuff like that. He looked like someone that's been let out of an institution. He looked like a man possessed. And I felt that Christiansen would get himself sent off in the game. The way that he was, you know, he seemed to be too much up for it. And I thought he was going to get sent off. He did get yellow carded. And after his yellow card, he actually toned it back a little bit because he didn't want to risk a second yellow. But the chances at the end of the game, if you want to call them half chances, fell to Christiansen. And he's not a centre forward, he's a right back. And he probably had right back finishes. But at the end of the day, people remember, yeah, but he had some chances right at the end. But Tottenham had chances throughout the game. And Tottenham played well. I mean, is there any particular people that you would signal out from Thursday's performance?
Spurs player or Frankfurt player?
Well, it's going to be, if you're going to give the man of the match to someone, it's going to be Spurs players, aren't they? They played better. Man for man, Spurs played better, I felt. So what players played above and beyond or played really well for you on Thursday? Who's your man of the match? Let's start with that one. Who's your man of the match?
Okay, if off the top of my head, if I had to award a Spurs player man of the match, or even anyone a man of the match, I would give man of the match to Solanke, just for his work rate, his tenacity, the way he held the ball up throughout the game, or whenever I watched in the second half, and also for taking the penalty calmly, which is all that mattered. So yeah, if I had to award man of the match to anyone, it would be Solanke in particular.
Solanke for you, right? So in the chat, tell me who you think was the man of the match, right? So Drula says 100% Jose, agree. We do look better without Son. Since he's been given the captaincy, he's not looked the same. I think too much pressure on him. Giddy Hap says we are still lacking to score goals. And 3-for-all, good. Happy Easter to you, 3-for-all. Happy Easter Sunday. If that was Mourinho or Conte in charge, it would have been classed as a masterclass. Credit where credit's due. More, please. Right, so man of the match is Giddy Hap says Udogie. Drew Lassan Romero. 3-for-all says Destiny. Tigaro says Destiny. For me, my man of the match is Rodrigo Bentancur. I thought Bentancur swept everything up. No one got past Bentancur. He swept everything up. He made everything look so easy, and he looks $1 million when he just keeps it easy and makes everything look so easy. He kept Tottenham ticking over. More in the first half than in the second half, because I felt that Bergvall grew into the game in the second half, where it was all Bentancur first half. In the second half, I thought Bentancur carried on doing what he was doing, but then Bergvall came into his element as well in the second half. Yes, a doggy who has been injured, has now played a few games on the trot before the game. And this is what I said earlier, for me, selection and tactics and substitutions were on point by the team and by Ange. And someone, before the game, if we'd seen the lineup, people were calling for Jed Spence to be in that lineup. So he's gone for Porro and Udogie, and by God did Udogie play well. Udogie, ball carrying, strong in the tackle. Udogie did really, really well defensively and offensively. Porro did well. Porro was not found out. Porro did really well as well. The two centre-halves. Romero, and I know that he divides opinions in the fan base, but if we lose Romero in this summer, we're not getting another Romero. Romero is unique. Romero is a one-of-a-kind player. And, you know, some people wishing him to be gone are just, I can't see the madness in it, because we've got a player there who is a world-class player. He's won a World Cup. He's won a Copa America. He's a winner. He wants to win things. And when he's on the ball, it was his, if you remember, you all remember Toby Alderweireld and his cross-field passes, yeah, for Tottenham. Romero's got that in his locker. Who set up Maddison for the penalty? It was Romero. Romero over the top, cross ball. Maddison's gone running in, and it was Romero that set that up. So, and Van der Ven's pace to get back and do it, Ekitike, you know. Maddison, I thought Maddison, lately, for me, Maddison does the same trick when he drops his shoulder. And I think if you study a player, if you do your homework and you study a player enough, you can work out what they're going to do. And I felt that Maddison in the last few games leading up to Frankfurt had been worked out. The amount of times he drops his shoulder to do that, to go on the half turn, and they take the ball off him, which has led to goals as well, where he's lost the ball. I can't remember him losing the ball against Frankfurt. And he only played 40-odd minutes, but I cannot remember once he lost the ball against Frankfurt. Everything was really neat and tidy by Maddison. And then the forward three, Solanke.
Oops, I think we might have lost Jose, or is he coming back? Or have I lost myself as well? Yeah, I think, okay, so Jose might have disconnected, so I'm just going to have to fill in for him while he returns. So I thought it was a very it was a very good display by the team overall. The way we controlled the game, the way we set up our own chances, the way we limited Frankfurt and their own chances. And I just hope that we can carry on from that Thursday night to Monday night. I know playing on a Monday night under the lights in the league might not be the best environment to sort of bring on the momentum going into our semi-finals against Bodo Glimt. But I really do hope that that away performance isn't going to be a one-off, because if we are to book our passage into the final of this year's Europa League final in in Bilbao, I honestly feel that we have to build on that away win. And I would like to hear your thoughts, everyone, before we wrap up the Thursday night win against Frankfurt. What are your expectations for tomorrow night's league encounter with Nottingham Forest? My thoughts personally is that it would be wise for Big Ange to carry on playing our substitutes, or even giving our bench warmers a chance, and not just having to rely on our starters. Although there are going to be pros and cons to either way, where we feel our strongest team and try to impress the home faithful, that we might just do it come end of the season. Let us know. Let me know, please, what you expect, or rather what you come to expect from Spurs when we take on the Nottingham Forest tomorrow night. And as for our European campaign, now before I preview Nottingham Forest tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, my thoughts on our semi-final opponents, Bodo Glimt. I was following the extra time between Lazio and Bodo Glimt, and when Lazio took the lead in extra time, I thought they would go on to win the tie, and that we will have to play Lazio for the semi-finals. But credit where credit is due. Bodo Glimt, they were able to draw level in extra time. And even though I think they got a player sent off, Bodo Glimt got a player sent off before the penalty shootout, they were able to scrap pass on penalties. And I think it was their goalkeeper who saved the final penalty that ensured that they booked their place in the semi-finals. The first time ever too, if memory serves me right, that a Norwegian side is in the semi-finals of an European competition. So congratulations to Bodo Glimt for making it this far in the Europa League this season. I really do hope that they do not an upset over us in the semi-finals. So I would still love to see us put on a proper performance away from home in Norway when we play them there. But for me, I would still rather have the tie done and dusted at home. We cannot, as is what Mr. Giddy Haps has just mentioned here, we cannot afford to underestimate Bodo, as they are a well-drilled team, and I couldn't agree with you more on that, Giddy Haps. Just watching them play against Lazio away in Italy and still be able to draw level, see out the match with 10 men, and then be able to hold out to be able to scrap through on penalties, that isn't an easy feat. So exactly what you just said there, Giddy Haps, we cannot afford to underestimate Bodo. And the last comment there by Miss Andrula, we need to put the game to bed at home, 4-0. Well, again, I couldn't agree with you there more, Miss Andrula. I think that the game should be done and dusted at home for us before we do take the tie away to Norway. Although Bordeaux themselves might have a few tricks up their sleeves, so I'm not going to discount them just yet. Let's just soak up the occasion, enjoy the match, and let's just see where this European campaign of us takes us to. Having said that, Jose is back, and I'll let him resume service as normal.
I had a bit of the Changs, and my internet connection went, so I've had to now log into a different internet in order to come back in. It's absolute madness. You couldn't make this Sunday up, could you? Thank you very much for continuing, Chang. I suppose we've done with the glory night in Frankfurt, because I'm hearing you talk about Forest, and then I'm hearing you talk about Bodo Glimt. But before we get to the Forest game, right, and we've got 2 questions to answer at the end as well. But before we get to the Forest game, I'm going to move on from this and go to, because we talk about a week in Tottenham, because you and I do a show from Sunday to Sunday. So the latest was the Ange's press conference for Forest. Have you heard good morning and happy Easter Sunday to you, Vindaloo. Sorry, I've just noticed Vindaloo's here as well. He's come in and he's being proper Vindaloo, like he is. Have you seen the press conference for Forest or heard?
Unfortunately, no, Jose. Unfortunately, I haven't.
Okay, so he's turned around and he said that Madison took a knock and he's had a knock and that. And initially, I felt that Madison was going to be in the squad, but then he's more or less said that Madison will probably have the night off against Forest. But he did turn around and say that he's likely to make 5 to 6 changes. He said this in his press conference already. Now, Nuno Espirito Santo, 2 ways that he's going to look at this is that, right, we need to guess what players he's going to change. Or he might think to himself, cool, we're going to play Tottenham and they're going to put an understrength team out against us. I don't see that. I see that Ange making changes is 1, clever, 2, brings opportunity, and it brings opportunity to other players to shine and to get more minutes and to shine. And 2, it's clever. I mean, Ruben Amorim, did you hear about Ruben Amorim in his press conference for the game this weekend? They played today, Man United, don't they? Yeah. But did you hear what he said in his press conference? He said quite clearly, from now on in, I'm playing the kids. He's saving his first team players
this one I did.
for Europa.
Yeah, I did hear about a little bit about this, and I really expected Big Ange to be doing this as early as our quarterfinal opponents were confirmed, and I'm sure he has his own reasons why he hasn't been playing Mikey Moore and Archie Gray a lot more for this final few games of our very disappointing league campaign. But I'm sure he has his reasons. And let's just hope, I really do hope that some of these fringe players do finally get a chance. And this is something that I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow night. Just to see who makes it on the bench and who starts tomorrow night is going to be a very good indication as to how Big Ange is going to manage this squad and this team for the remainder of the campaign.
So we last night, I don't know whether you watched it because you're part of the channel. You're part of the Tottenham Till I Die crew, Chang. And last night I heard the Oracle. I can't remember where it was on. Yeah, the Oracle was on Friday night. So Friday night, the Oracle. And you know the Oracle is Adrian. Yeah, I call him the Oracle. They were talking about what team they would select against Forest. And Adrian near enough named the changed 11. So I had to put a comment into the chat to say, Ange talked about 5 or 6 changes, not the whole team. Because now, all of a sudden, Ange is going to make 5 or 6 changes. People are going to be calling for Mikey Moore, Scarlett, Richarlison, Ben Davis, Kinkski. People are calling for Bissouma, Pape Sarr, Archie Gray. I mean, just them alone is 8 changes. He's not going to make as many as 8 changes. He said 5 or 6. Now, whether he does 5 or 6 or not remains to be seen. The one change I can see is Madison not playing, and I believe that Kulu will start tomorrow night. Other than that, it's important. It's a league game, and you know, for me, Forest look like they might drop out of the Champions League spots. They're dropping points where others around them are picking them up. So I think if you look at the league table now, which you're not going to look at because you can't see it from there, but the league table now currently has them, and I'll bring it up for me in a second, and I'm doing that now. Right, the tables at the moment is Liverpool stand on top with 76, Arsenal second with 63, Newcastle have played a game more because they played yesterday, are third on 59, Man City played yesterday, are on 58, Forest are fifth at the moment on 57, along with Villa are sixth with 57 who played yesterday, so that's a game more. Chelsea played today and are on 54. Chelsea's goal difference is better than Forest. So if Chelsea won today and Forest lose tomorrow, Forest drop down to 6th. Chelsea will then go up into 5th from 7th. So I think, and the other thing is last night on, well, it's so convoluted, but last night on Match of the Day, they explained the positions. At the moment, as we stand at the moment, the top 5 go into the Champions League, and the team that finishes 6th go into the Europa League. The EFL Cup winners go into the Conference League at the moment. However, the EFL has been won by Newcastle United. So if Newcastle United qualify for the Champions League, then the team that finishes 7th will go to the Conference. If Chelsea win the Conference League, they will go into the Europa. And if Chelsea finish in the top positions, then that frees up. We could have 3 teams in the Europa. And if Tottenham or Man United, because they're outside the top 5 at the moment, win the Champions League, then England will have 6 teams in the Champions League next season. It's convoluted. It's absolutely convoluted because there's a spot for an FA Cup winner as well. But 3 of the 4 teams in the FA Cup semi-finals are in the top 6 already. So Villa, Forest, and who was it? Villa, Forest. Who's the other team? So you've got Villa, Forest, and I know Crystal Palace are outside of the top. But anyway, if the FA Cup's won by one of these teams in the top 6 or 7, then it gives you another spot in another competition. It's absolutely convoluted. I'd rather wait till the end of the season for all the eggs to hatch, and then we know where everyone's going. So tomorrow is Forest. I don't want to see that many changes. Well, I'd like to see us go and put in a performance. Changes or not, I want to see a performance. And where one door closes for some people that get a rest, another door opens for the people that get given a chance. And that's where I am. Right, to finish off, we've got 2 questions that I've starred in the back. And I'm going to ask you as well, Chang. I'll ask you first. Although it says it to me, is hello. Just imagine it said hello, Jose and Chang. Hello, Jose and Chang. Are you Anjin or Anjao? Chang, you're first, mate. You're going to give me a big diplomatic response, but you go first.
So yeah, I've mentioned multiple times as well, not only when we were doing Jose and Chang, when we first started off. I think I mentioned it multiple times as well over the perfect match that regardless of how badly we are doing or even how well we're doing, just long as Big Ange is in charge, he's still at the helm, he's still in the hot seat, I'm fully behind him because I personally feel as a fan that no matter who is in charge, you give them your full support. Whether you're Big Ange or Ryan Mason or some other caretaker manager or even Nuno, when things weren't looking all that well for him, I will fully be behind Ange in until such time Levy and the board decides that his time is up. I will always be behind whoever's in charge of the team. And right now, more than ever, I think we need to get behind this manager, especially if there is even the slightest chance of us winning silverware this season. I think he should be given to the very end of the season to see if he can, repay our faith in him. And faith in him, I should give Jose. And for me, it will be Big Ange in. Probably till the end of the season. And after all is said and done, after the league has wrapped up, and after we end our European campaign, then we can decide where to go on from therein. But until such time, given a boot, I will be fully behind Big Ange.
Right. So for me, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was last week against Wolves. One game on the Thursday night is not going to change my mind now. For me, and I said this before, the chemistry is just not right at the club. I don't blame Ange fully for this, and I haven't all season. I've said it's a multitude of things. I think it's players. I think it's Ange, some of the ways that selections that he's made, and some of the non-selections he's made, and the tactics in some of the games. And so some of it is on Ange, some of it's on the players. Scott Munn, I'm hearing reports that he's leaving. So glad that he's leaving. I don't know what he's offered in 2 years that he's been at Tottenham. Langer, for me, is an issue as well. Can't get deals done and tied and across the line, and then Levy needs to snake back in and get involved. So you've got that. You've got our medical team's a problem. With the issues that we've had with our players from having to go elsewhere to seek medical attention because our club can't do it. You've got that as well. You've got the coaches that we've got. So for me, it's a multitude of things, and I just don't think the chemistry is right. And for that reason, I think Ange will go at the end of the season, win or lose the trophy. I think Ange goes. I think with the press conferences Ange has been doing lately, I understand Australian humour because we've got lots of Australian friends, but the stuff that Ange is saying is not humour anymore. I think they've had conversations, and he already knows that his time is probably numbered at the club. And either way, there's going to be a change in the summer. If Paratici is to come back, right? Because if you're getting rid of Scott Munn, then there's an opening there for Paratici again. If you bring Paratici back to the club, Paratici brings his own director of football, which won't be Langer, and therefore he will bring his own manager, which won't be Ange, because Ange is not the mould of manager that Paratici looks at. So for me, for the sake of Ange, for his health and everything, for the sake of Ange, I think that Ange will part ways in the summer with Ange Postecoglou. What I was going to say about Ange as well is I think Ange will find a job quite comfortably in any of the top 5 leagues. I think Ange has got a window of opportunity to manage elsewhere. I don't think Ange loses any stock by being at Tottenham at all. The other thing I will say for Ange Postecoglou, and I'm going to stick up for him to say, is as a manager, people say you're the manager, so the buck stops with you. You take the, you get paid the big bucks and stuff like that. But for me, I don't quite agree, because unlike in other countries, they don't do it much in this country, but unlike in other countries, if you ask a manager, the manager is not the only one that gets wielded out in front of the press. You'd have a director of football would come out and talk. You'd have the chief of the medical staff would come out and talk. Your owner would come out and talk. However, at Tottenham, everyone hides. Everyone hides in corners, and the only person that's wielded out week in, week out is Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou is asked questions on players that are injured, and how long they're going to be out for, what the prognosis is, what's the injury, and stuff like that. And Ange is wheeled out, and he has to talk about all this. Get a medical team to talk about it. Get someone from the medical team to say, these are our injuries, this is what our prognosis is, this is what the lead time is, this is what we're doing. When he's asked questions about the finances, is Tottenham being bought? Is there a buyout going on? How much money are you going to have to spend in the summer and stuff like that? Someone like Scott Munn who is the person supposedly that was doing all the football stuff, he should be wheeled out to answer them questions. But no, it's all put on Ange. And because Ange can't give you the answers what you want, and Ange can't say because he doesn't know, people vilify Ange for that. People vilify Ange for any medical questions that are asked. You know, at the end of the day, I just think he gets an absolute roasting, and possibly, you know, possibly more, maybe more than what other managers do. But where other managers quite simply say, it's not my area of expertise, you're better off asking X, Y, and Z. Well, it's as if they're programmed by the people within the club to take the hits for them, and they're not allowed to say, you better ask someone else. You better ask someone else. So for me, I think he's had a hard ride as well. But the chemistry is just not right. So in answer to that, I am saying that the Tottenham and Ange will part ways, but I think he will do really well wherever he goes, and I think he's got a top 5 job in line anywhere he goes. Paul G says surprised they aren't going for Klopp. Brula says Ancelotti leaving Madrid after the Copa Rey Cup, shabby to take over. Snorlax woke up again. What if Klopp waits for Pep to leave? You think he would dare to join City, says Page, or too much love for the Paul? Paul G says agreed. Pace's current gig is probably so people slightly forget about him, and then boom, a club can strike and sign him, or a national team. I think she's referring to Klopp. And the last question we've got, Chang, is from Drula. She says Davis is being offered a new 1-year contract. How do you all feel about that?
I think he's a model professional, and if he does extend his contract, I will welcome it, because currently I think we should have enough on our books right now. The likes of Romero, Denso, Van, even Dragushin to return from injury. So having Ben Davis in the squad is a good option to have. Although there will be those who will be saying, extending someone like Davis is exactly why we are where we are at the moment. And this contract extension for Davis is going to be dividing fans. But for me, I welcome it. And his wealth of experience is going to be something that we're going to be needing as well. I couldn't have hoped for a better model professional really to still be around to share his experience, to help nurture some of our younger defenders, and also to make up the numbers. And this is something that I fully welcome. Although I also do agree that I think his replacement should be lined up, whether it's promoting someone from the academy or someone from the youth setup to take his place. Whether it's going to be Ashley Phillips or even a Luka Vuskovic, I think it's something that the managerial team and also the board are going to have to look at. But my final thoughts on Ben Davis being offered a new 1-year contract. This is something that I am pleased for. I'm pleased for him and for the rest of the team. But I think the 1 year is about as much as he can get right now, until we do find someone to replace him long term. Having said that, back to you, FA.
So does he not stop the pathway though? I mean, if we look at it, because I've not really looked at it, I'm not too sure about Davis being offered another year's contract, because unless the players that are coming back are going to be all under 21 still, and then they won't take up a squad place. But with saying that, what do you do at the moment? You have Danso. Have we signed Danso? Is he on loan? We signed Danso? Yeah, is that right? We signed him.
I think he will sign him. I believe he is. Wait. Let me check. I'm just going to check on this. I could be wrong, but I think Danso has already been signed on a permanent.
So Kingsley was signed, right?
As far as I can tell, only Tel is the one that's on loan.
I thought Kingsley was signed as the goalkeeper, Tel was on loan, and Danso, was he on loan? Or is Danso a full-time player? Because if he is on loan and he's not a full-time player...
I'm just confirming this. Okay, yeah, it is a loan.
Okay.
He is currently on a loan from
okay.
France.
So Danso is a player that you want to sign. Yeah? You want to sign. So Tottenham, right, will have, at the moment, Romero, Van der Ven, Danso, Vergusin. Yeah? Then you've got Davis. And then you've got the returning three. Vuskovic, Phillips, Dorrington. Now, if, and I hope this doesn't happen, I want us to win the Europa League and I want Romero to stay. But if Romero was to go, are you then buying another centre-half? Or is Danso that replacement already? And then does Davis then block the path for the three youngsters that are coming back? Or are we saying already that the three youngsters we've got are not good enough for first-team football and are going to be sent out again on loan next year? Because Vuskovic is burning it in Belgium. Phillips is burning it at Stoke. And Dorrington has now reached a cup final with Aberdeen. Yesterday, they beat Hearts 2-1 in a semi-final of the Scottish Cup. So, you know, are we saying already that the three youngsters are not good enough? You know, so for me, is Davis blocking someone's pathway? Now, we keep saying over and over again, Chang, as a fan base, we keep saying that Tottenham did not sell, move players on when they should have done, and some people stayed for way too long. Cases in point are your people like Hugo Lloris, Eric Dyer, and people like this that people said were way too long in the tooth at Tottenham. Well, you've now got Davis, who's probably been here 10 years. You've now got Sonny, who's probably been here 10 years. And, you know, for me, I'm just like, yeah, although he's a good person to have in and around the club, right? I'm just like, you know, okay, he's a good person to have in and around the club. If I remember rightly, Davis is also taking his coaching badges at the moment, or has been doing them at Tottenham whilst he's been playing, and therefore will go into a coaching capacity somewhere. At the end of the day, you know, okay, he might be a good person to have around, but if you want to move on and kick on, is Davis the right person to have for another year? Or should we be doing what we've all said? I mean, this is where sentiment comes back into it again. We're all saying that we need to do things and act in a certain way to move us and progress us along, yet we're signing Davis for a further year. Is that like a cheap option for us? I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing this penny lane thing again, and we're penny pinching. And for me, I don't see how much changes with keeping Davis, unless there's things that are going on in the back already, or things have been decided, and we've just not been alerted to this. I just can't see why Davis has been offered another year. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, that makes total sense, Jose. Of course, given the chance, given the opportunity, I myself personally would Ashley Phillips or even Luka Vuskovic back, or even Alfie Dorrington. For me, either one of those three youngsters should be able to cut it in the Premiership and start their Spurs career, start their proper Spurs journey with the likes of Romero, Van der Ven, and Kevin Danso to guide them. And I mean, again, there are a lot of factors in this, so I don't really know what's been discussed behind the scenes. But my final thoughts on this whole Davis being offered a new one-year contract, he's not the worst possible option to have as far as being a veteran in the game and being a loyal servant to Spurs is concerned. But I also have my concerns that it might block the paths of those youngsters and their progression, their senior progression. So I think whoever is still in charge of the team come next season will have a big say in this. Whether that's going to be Big Ange or someone else, I think they will have the final say in this. All in all, I wish Ben Davies all the best. I wish him well if he does move on beyond this season, and if he does stay, then good on him. Hopefully, much like Son, he will be able to lift a trophy. He will be able to lift silver first before his time with us is up.
Right, thank you very much, Chang. I'm just trying to get rid of some of these banners because I've got the predictions banners there as well. Chang, thank you very much for today. Hopefully you've not gone rogue on me again. Thank you very much for today. And yeah, I've got everyone on a redirect now because I'm meant to be on FHTV. So I've got everyone on a redirect. So I'll be redirecting everyone there. So if you could go there, right, and do the old dutiful thing to show that I am supporting, because Mr. Sava has helped me out a hell of a lot, and my subs have gone up because of Mr. Sava. So if you could go over and just say hello and just put hashtag in there, #LTelRaid. So yeah, I'm going to thank everyone for today. We will be back next Sunday, Chang, at more or less the same time. So everybody, thank you very much. And as always, have a happy Easter, and it's come on you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs!